What's up, adults? It's Christian from Adulting for People in a Hurry, and today we're going to talk about assets and liabilities, and also known as why do poor people stay poor and why do the middle class stay middle and goes to poor. Reason being is that people want to buy shiny objects, and those shiny objects, majority of them, I don't want to say all, but majority of them are a liability and not an asset. Asset is defined as a useful or valuable thing, person, or quality. In my view, asset is also something that yields or makes you some type of money. It's not really a store of value, but also it makes you money. For example, gold is store of value and will not make you money in the long term. It's going to just keep the value, the purchasing power of the money that you put into towards it. For example, you buy gold for, I think it was an example was something along those lines. Don't hate me if it's not 100% accurate, but it's something along those lines. 100 years ago, an ounce of gold was $3, and a horse was also $3. Or was it $100? Whatever. Now an ounce of gold is $2,000. Now at the time of this recording, it might not be exactly what I'm saying. But a horse is also $2,000. So in other terms, what I'm trying to illustrate is not the accuracy of the cost of gold, but the accuracy of that 1 ounce of gold 100 years ago could have purchased you the same thing that 1 ounce of gold can purchase you right now. And if 100 years ago, gold, a block of gold or ounce of gold was $100 and now it's $2,000, those $2,000 are equivalent into the same purchasing power as 100 years ago, the $100. 100 years ago. I hope that made sense. So basically, store of value is something that will not make you money, will not lose you money. It's gonna just store the money there. Asset is something that makes you money. For example, if you have a rental property, that's an asset. This is an appreciating asset actually. It is. There's different types of assets. Some of them appreciate, some of them don't. But let's define, in general, assets as something that will make you money. And liabilities, on the other hand, are defined as. So here's the primary difference between assets and liabilities is that assets is anything which is owned by the company to provide the economic benefits in the future, whereas liabilities are something for which the company is obligated to pay it off in the future. So asset in general terms is something that will benefit you in the future, and liability is something that you're going to keep paying. For example, what is a liability? The fancy car that you're driving. That's a big liability. You'll never make the money back out of a car. Unless, and here is a little asterisk, unless that car is like antique and you know somehow that in 50 years that car will be extremely more valuable than it is now. Such as Toyota Supra, for example. That car is just rising in price. But see, at the time of Toyota Supra was produced, no one knew that. That just happened. So in general terms, Toyota Supra becomes a speculation, or any car becomes a speculation, because you really don't know which cars in the future will be antiques and stuff like that. So to wrap this up, cars are liabilities. Another thing that's a huge liability and it acts exactly like a car. With that I mean you always pay money about it. I mean on it. You always pay money on it. It will always cost you money to maintain it, and the features that it produces for you are getting dated and dated. Ta-da! It's no secret, the phone acts exactly as a car liability. It's always going to be a new phone. It's always going to be a better camera or better features or a faster processor. And that phone will not produce you any money with an asterisk. Now, for example, how a liability can become an asset. A liability can become an asset if you make money with your phone. If you're Ubering, for example, the phone becomes part of that business. In another video, we're going to get deeper into what can you write off and what is smart to buy and what can you afford buying at this point that's going to be a write-off. It is a liability, but you don't care because it's a write-off. But for now, assets, things that make us money, liabilities, things that doesn't make us money. Or actually things that we lose money on, like motorcycles, cars, boats, jet skis, phones, and everything else that there's no way you make money on. Actually, that's incorrect, because you can make money on a lot of things if you are not making money out of it. For example, you can drive for Uber with your car, right? Yeah, but you are not driving for Uber with your car, so it's a liability. Just because somebody can drive an Uber with their car and turn their car into an asset. House can be an asset or a liability as well. I'm a real estate investor and I have a few properties. Now, all of them at this point are assets because they're rented out. And if you pay off your house and only you live there and you do not rent it out, now the house becomes a liability. Yes, you do have shelter to live, but it does not bring you any money in. It does bring you benefits such as shelter, but it becomes a liability. So the biggest mistake that I see young people do, and it tears up my heart because you're getting screwed so much and you don't even know it, is that they buy a brand new shiny car and they think they hit the jackpot and they brag around. Like I have a couple friends, they're like bought 2019, what it was, I don't even remember, whatever, Toyota Corolla or Camry or Maxima, Nissan Maxima, something like that. They drop like 20 to 30 grand, I don't know the price of the car, but it's a brand new car, okay? This car for the first 3 years, this is a liability. The value of this car will drop down significantly for the first 3 years. I'm gonna try to include some graphs so you get the point of, of what's going on with the car. So if you decide to sell it in 5 years, you're gonna get significantly lesser amount. So for 30 grand, you could have done $5,000 buying a used car, a crappy car for 5K. And then for the other 25 grand, you could have put down payment, 20% down payment on $115,000, $120,000 property that you could have rent out, and that's gonna make you money. And if you're cash flowing on the property, let's say $200, in 3 years that property will pay out the $5,000 for the car, give or take. The exact math I'm gonna list somewhere here or somewhere here, I don't know. So if the property cash flows for $200 a month, you're gonna make $5,000 for 25 months. That's 2 years and 1 month that you're gonna make the money that you spent on the car. And now the car's free and the property is getting paid down, which is called principal paying down, that your tenant is paying. And you can depreciate the property. And for my whole example is, for 30 grand, you can make way better financial decision than paying out a car outright and just driving that liability. I don't get why would you do that? But just think about this. Rich people, they did not, majority of them, I think it was like 98%, I think. I'm not sure. But the majority of them did not become rich by inheriting the money. I know you all think that, oh, in America you need to inherit the money to become rich. That cannot be further from the truth. Majority of millionaires did not inherit their money. They worked for them. Actually, they worked for them is one part of the equation. They did not buy stupid things with them. The rich person just spent their money wiser. So people who are rich or wealthy, whatever your definition is, or they're on their way to become rich or wealthy, they generally just position themselves and spend their money very wisely and very methodically and they're very goal-oriented in what they want to achieve with that money. All in all I'm saying is get rid of all the liabilities that you have, lower your monthly expenses as much as you can, and when you make $4,000, don't spend $39.99. When you're making $4 grand a month, just make your expenses a month $2,000. Next month, try to make it $1,500. Next month, try to make it $1,400. Just try to squeeze as much as possible, save the money, and when you save enough money, in the meantime, research and decide what you want to invest in. Maybe you want to start a business, maybe you want to invest in real estate, maybe you want to invest in the stock market, maybe you just want to retire early. I mean, it's whatever you want. So decide what you want to do, research into the topic, and invest your money. No one is gonna make you rich. You gotta position yourself and educate yourself financially to become financially independent. So all in all, guys, focus on what do you want to achieve, buy more assets or acquire more assets into the field that you want to achieve something in, and just try to get rid of as many liabilities as you can. That's pretty much it. Just poor people spend their money on liabilities because they're flashy and it's awesome and people, oh my god, look at this guy. And rich people are rich because they don't have much of those. Now, extremely rich people, they can have whatever they want, but they used to grind and grind and grind every day to, you know, and they used to drive, most of them, not everybody, and they used to drive, you know, a beat up car, live into an apartment with 3 other people, and so on and so forth. Alright, that's it for now, guys. If you found value in that video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't find value, give it a thumbs down. I mean, it's pretty much whatever you want. Leave me a comment with ideas of what other videos and topics you want me to discuss. Consider subscribing, and that's pretty much it for now. See you next time.